Hey, this week Raph finally grows a beard and gets some new goggles and weapons, so I'm gonna show you how I did it. So there he is. I made him a couple months ago. I have some weapons that were from a Playmate 6-inch shredder that I'm gonna give to Raph because shredder doesn't need them and have anywhere to put them. So I chose to make his beard using foam clay. It's a really cool material. It's foam that works like clay and then it dries, but it takes 24 hours to dry and then it's just like regular foam. So I laid down the base of his beard and then I'm using these like silicone sculpting tools to just flatten it down and then add a bunch of little lines and details to it. But since it's black, you can't really see yet, but I just keep going over it. I want to add as much detail as I can. That's kind of what I'm going for. And while that starts to dry, I move on to Donnie. I'm also going to fix up his head because it was a little too big and I didn't really like it. I thought I could do better. It was my first thing I ever made with my 3D pen, but so I sanded him up with my Dremel and then with some nail files, or a nail file. And now I revealed some of the little holes, so I'm filling those in with Spackling. It's meant for filling in small holes and it works great for little things like this. And now it dried for like half an hour. I'm adding a little more small details, more foam clay to just be bigger pieces of hair or beard popping out, and then flatten them down, or like adding more details with those tools and sometimes pressing it down. But yeah, he's surprised too that I could make a sentence out of words and have them all come out of my mouth in the proper order. So for his goggles, I went with a 2mm foam and I traced out some goggles I drew, and I'm going to use a plastic lace. That's what I showed there, the red, because it's just some plastic material I found that's see-through and colored. So I have an acrylic primer mixed with black acrylic that I'm using to paint those goggles black, and also the handles on the two weapons that I'm giving him, and also Donnie's head. But then I remembered I have to sand it still, so I gave it a quick sand over the garbage off screen so that I didn't dust up my work area there. And then I painted all black. The part I didn't paint, that's still silver. I didn't sand or add anything there. And back to Raph, as to see how I want to add a little more to his mustache. He's got those couple hairs that go out like a crazy old man. And a little more to his sideburns, and then just using the tool, it's a flat edge, so I'm just adding little indents. And then to add some more in the place that's already been drying for 2 hours with an X-Acto knife to just add more slices, to have more details. Now I'm adding silver. I did silver on the inside while it was upside down, and now I'm just doing an outline of the holes with the silver, because that's how it looks in the reference, and also it makes it pop out more. And now Donnie gets silver because his head is silver, because it's metal, because he's a cyborg. If you haven't seen Mutant Apocalypse, it's from season 5 of the 2012 series of Turtles, and it's like a 3-episode arc, but I saw it like a movie just all put together. So I traced the inside of the goggles, and then I tried that marker, it didn't work, and I tried that marker, it didn't work. This one does work, so that's good. So then I traced that out so I can see it better, because that's going to be the layout for my red lenses in the goggles. So that's a tacky glue. It's just like a regular craft glue that I got from Walmart, and I glue those two together. I chose that glue because it dries clear. Super glue would have been a mess and it would have stuck out. I used parchment paper so it didn't stick, and I could sandwich it in between there to dry. And I got another piece of that plastic lace. This one's purple I used to make Donnie's mouth. And now to make holsters for his new weapons that he has on his back, it's just craft leather. I got these sheets at the dollar store. It was like 6 sheets, like a foot by a foot-ish, for like $4. And so I did 3 flaps and folded it in half on that one. This one I just folded it in half and glued it together, but it was too small, so now I'm using that as my reference point to make a bigger one, and this one's gonna have 3 flaps that fold over just like the last one I made. And I tested that it fits before I glued it together. And then I used card just to help me get the edge up without getting super glue on my fingers. And now I glue them to the back. Getting close, I cut out the plastic lace that I glued together. It's pretty good. I cut it in half, and then I broke one of them by accident. Well, there was a little glue. I tried to peel it off, but it was what was holding it together. And anyway, I super glue those on the inside of the goggles, and then I cut a thin strip of that craft leather or faux leather that I used for the holsters. And now I'm doing a really light dry brushing of white over his beard, just so that you can start to see it finally, all the details start to come out. And I decided I'm going to give him some pupils, but that was the marker that didn't really work. And this one does, so I just do small pupils because otherwise I'd mess it up. And now I decide I'm just going to glue the goggles on rather than have them moving, because he has them up pretty much the whole episode, even though he doesn't have a beard for the whole episode. But I highly suggest you check out the episode if you haven't watched it. It's got like a Mad Max vibe. It's in the future, and that's all I'll say. But now they come together, they're happy. This is what they look like. I think Donnie's a big improvement, but Raph looks way better because his face was a little too big from when I made him the last time, and the beard makes it look like it's supposed to be that big because he's got a really big beard. So I just made the beard a little smaller and his face a little bigger. I did it on purpose. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, remember, always keep your head up. Peace.